Time is an important element in today's presentation, both in its synchronic aspect and its more diachronic aspect. Just to very briefly introduce the two artists and the curator, Natalie, who will moderate the discussion later on. Maria Economopoulou lives and works in Rotterdam since 1985. In 1991, she graduated from the Willem de Kooning Academy in Rotterdam, in Netherlands, where she studied sculpture and monumental art. She has had numerous solo and group shows in Netherlands, Greece and abroad, as well as public commissions and interventions. Her work is also included in many public and private collections around the globe. Anastasia Mina graduated from Athens School of Fine Arts in 2010 with diploma in painting and then completed an MA in printmaking at the Royal College of Art in London. She did that in 2014. She now lives and works in London, and she has participated in many exhibitions in Cyprus, the UK, and abroad. Most recently, she represented, among others, Cyprus at the Biennale of Young Artists of the Mediterranean. And Natalie Bubis is an independent curator and writer. She has recently completed her MFA in curating at Goldsmiths University in London. Dear all, thank you very much again for your attention, and without any further delay, I would like to pass the floor to my High Commissioner, Euripides Zebrilliadis, for his own welcoming remarks.
We take much pleasure in presenting tonight a collaborative work between a Cypriot artist, Anastasia Mina, and a Greek artist, Maria Economopoulou, both members of the Hellenic diaspora in London and Rotterdam, respectively. Through their impressive intellectual art book entitled Synchronosides, the artists jointly embark on a journey to cross the boundaries of written language as a medium of knowledge transfer. How important are patterns in the construction of knowledge about our past, present, and future? Are repetitive symbols enhancing or restricting our autonomy as individuals and our collectiveness as social beings? What's the role of narrative semantics in the shaping of stereotypes with regard to gender, religion, ethnicity, and sexuality? How is the social media revolution and contemporary politics influenced by strategies based on the innate tendency of human brain to recognize, understand, and ultimately follow repetitive and sometimes as short as 140 character patterns, or any of you that are on Twitter for this event? My thanks and appreciation are naturally extended to the Cultural Councillor, Achilleas Hadjikyriakou, Dr. Hadjikyriakou, for taking this initiative and for doing a lot of the heavy lifting in these events. Last but not least, I would like to thank the participating artists and curator for accepting our invitation and making this event possible. Thank you. I wish each and every one of you health, happiness, and success. Stay healthy and stay safe.
What was the genesis of this project?
So it was, we were invited by a curator that invited us to participate in a project in Thessaloniki. His idea was to put together two artists by different denominations, and we never worked together before. We didn't know each other before, and we did that with a lot of pleasure. We worked for this project, for his project. But the collaboration was it was a great pleasure, and we recognized both that it's something special. So we decided to go on to develop that, and then we without question somehow. So it was our wish, and we thought it's maybe it's important to develop something together. So we came up to the book.
Yeah, we had like a very limited time for that project. So we have a catalog there, but you can see it's the outcome of the first kind of meeting that we had, and the first invitation. And so we had like several ideas, but we didn't have the time to develop them. And we kind of did something for that project, and then we thought we would like to continue, and that's how we kind of proceeded to this one. We came to collaborate.
So the curator in the project in Thessaloniki, he put you two together because he saw commonalities in your practice. Do you know what they were? Could you expand on what the kind of linkages in your individual practices were or are?
For me, it was not clear why we have been putting together, but later on with Forex, I thought that we have very much the same mentality, and the love to work with hands, with using a lot of time, to make things, and
I think he might have seen like both of us were using like the aspect of time was very important in both of our practices, and the mark making thing as well, and
using text.
yeah, using the text or a lot of paper-based work, and I think there are a lot of similarities that we.
But not very clear, not very obvious.
Yes, not in a clear way. Yeah.
But he obviously had picked up on something because you had this one collaboration and then you had this desire to do this book together, and it was no mean feat because you've embarked on producing 45 editions of a completely handmade book, which is a huge undertaking. I wondered if you could speak a bit about, once you'd agreed, once you've decided to kind of push your collaboration further, the kind of correspondence that we see around us and the working progress that it took you to come up with the final idea.
So, like the initial idea that was, because we were two artists from different generations, and usually it's the younger artist who kind of takes inspiration from the more established one. Maria had, I had sent a portfolio of mine to Maria, and then she kind of looked through it, and she said she had this idea of her being inspired by me instead of me being inspired by her. So she kind of picked one of my drawings or prints.
Yeah, a drawing that looked very much like this one, that reminds a cahier.
Yeah, it was made on a notebook, so it had this kind of cahier or book quality.
Yeah. And I decided to take this as beginning for inspiration. And then we stayed at this theme, that's writing and booklets, and it was the beginning. And then we found out that we have both a lot of we are fond of letter forms, of letter types, everything.
So so she made a drawing to respond to that, and then we kind of started exchanging drawings.
This was all by post?
Yes, this was all done by post, and sending drawings to each other, and you can see some of them there, and all the notes that we're going through the process. And at the end I think we ended up in having the format of a book, just because it felt kind of natural to the way that we were working from the beginning, and we wanted to make the decision to make an edition, a handmade edition of it, because the whole idea is it's based on the repetitive mark making, so we thought it would be more true to the book or the initial idea to actually make those books by hand instead of having them an edition. And it was also about making the same thing but at the same time, like each one is very different.
And we wanted also to refer to reflect to the old, the beginning of the books in the middle, Ages, that they were made by hand, and also to have in this way you have the totally control. So you don't, you are not independent. You are not dependent of the quality of the printer. So if it costs you a lot of time, but then you are the boss of it. And the handmade book has also the quality of
The imprint.
yeah, the imprint of because I use the marker, and the marker goes to the back side of the page. So this is a very nice result that you difficult to get in the printing.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that actually. That obviously Anastasia's work is in pencil in the book, and then Maria, your work is in pen in the book. Are these mediums that you always work in, or is this a decision that sort of came about in the collaboration?
We work. Yeah, I use a lot of many of them. The marker, and I think Anastasia.
Yeah, my main material is like pencil and paper, so it was just natural to me to just use the pencil. Yeah. And we thought that each one should stick to her medium.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's something that's very beautiful, like you say, because you have the ink that comes through the pages, but then you also have the pencil that transfers onto the other page. So you've got this beautiful autonomy, but this sort of relationship between your work transferring as well, which I think is really nice. Perhaps you could say a little bit more about the importance of repetition and a sort of laborious and time-consuming process in this work.
It looks like very difficult to do, and it takes you a lot of time. But it gives you so much concentration and so much freedom for I don't know for what yeah, I think it has to do with this time that we're so overwhelmed with a lot of information, and this moment of be limiting yourself in because we limited ourselves a lot, but limited, then you achieve a level of freedom that is very liberating. And we both share the experience that we love we are now on number 25, I think, and we are very glad to work on. So it's not that finished. It's very, very yeah.
For me, like repeating things and like the act of kind of doing the same like gesture over and over again is also a way of understanding things, and I use it a lot in my practice, my individual practice as well. So it's a way of spending time and understanding things. So yeah, I would say that. And it like especially for this project, we still find pleasure of going back and kind of continuing the edition. It's because it's like a safe thing to go back to. It's like, it's something that could also fit our individual practices. When you're kind of tired or you feel a bit lost, you go back to something secure and kind of. It's also a way of meditating in a way, like this kind of repetitive process. It's a meditation.
And it's not perfect. It's the thing is all the pages, because you have those 45 editions, so not all the editions are unique, and there are some mistakes in the book, and also this print of when Anastasia used the pencil. So sometimes the pencil gives this dirty blackness, but makes it more real.
Yeah.
More, I think.
And so how many years have you been working on it now?
I think it's almost
4.
4. This is scary. It's 4. I think it's
Since
since
2013.
2013. Yeah. So the first presentation was in November for 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And but it took us like a year to kind of arrive in this product, let's say. And then we didn't work on it like
No.
continuously. It was a thing that we kind of take and leave, and then
So over that time, has your relationship to the work changed and your thoughts evolved as you've been working on it and as you've been, like you say, kind of meditating on it and forming this relationship through the act of doing and creating all these individual books?
My relation to this, it comes with periods. So there is a period that we worked a lot, and then we do other things. And every time I come back to work, to making some books, and I always try to break the limits I put to myself. And it's really interesting that I always need to be. To break these limits, and then I come back to the limits because they are the best.
Yeah.
So it's this fight with developing, and where we want to questioning of if it's right to do the same thing all the time, if it steals this freedom or more limitation.
For me, it's like when I leave it for a long time and I kind of forget how we did it, and I have to go through my notes and kind of find the template and kind of think, oh, how did I do that? So it's not an easy, every time it's like a new kind of thing. And it's also like, I guess as my practice had kind of changed, and this is like something like stable that goes along, like a parallel line that I can kind of go back to and refer and see and kind of check. So it's like a stable thing going along with other things that happen on the side.
And how about the relationship between you throughout the kind of duration of this collaboration? Because it's been a long time that you've been working together now, and how has that evolved?
Very well. very well. Yeah, I feel very lucky to with this working together, because I think it's very, very, very special to be able to work together and then to have the feeling that you remain yourself in the relationship in this. And very, very well and very unique, I think. I wish to everybody to have to experience a kind of similar collaboration in his life, because it's very, very beautiful.
It's like initially started as a kind of more professional, in a professional level, and now it's like definitely on a personal level first. And also, if you look through that, like the first catalog, you could see like the first piece that we did was a page with all our communication and the emails we exchange. So it was like the greetings and how we kind of greet each other, and it starts with really formal, and then it goes like to, I don't know, kisses and good nights. So it kind of shows exactly like the change of the relationship. And I think it's also like it's been an excuse to actually talk to each other, like this project. Oh, we have to talk about the book, and but then we end up talking like 5 minutes about the book, and then like 20 about I don't know.
Yeah.
But still, until today, we have to make this installation here together. It's amazing how how easy are for us the decisions to make, because we say exactly the same thing at the same time. But yeah, it's very, very nice to have that, and still, yeah, without losing yourself. So it's so nice.
It's very. We talked about this a bit prior to this talk, but I think there's something very special about a collaboration like yours between two women of two different generations as well. And I wondered if you had any thoughts on that.
Yeah. I mean, we are from different generations, but I didn't feel like that at all. Yeah.
It's very, it's again, I wish that it's something that could happen often, and it's very refreshing and very, very nice to go back to time and to the future, and to, I don't know, to be aware that you are not the first one, you did things, and you're not also the last one to do things. And we trust each other so much, and we're so equal in our practices that we can work together without feeling strange about age. But we have different backgrounds.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
So it's really quite special, and in the art world, for those of you not familiar with the art world, it's very, very hard to collaborate and be a marketable, sellable artist, because an individual name is always required to kind of sell work, basically. So I think there's something very special about this. It'd be interesting to hear more about your thoughts in that context, in the art context.
It's very against to this art market that wants you to have your name and then to sell your name. And we sell both names, not a new name, because a lot of artists are making collaborations like we make a new format, both of us, and then we make products under a new name.
Yeah.
So we keep our individuality, but then we put together our individualities. And I noticed that in art market, it's something that's not accepted. So it's more interesting for us to keep on doing outside of the art market.
Yeah.
Until they understand it. Could be also something.
Yeah, we had like a lot of trouble, like when approaching like a commercial kind of gallery or space, how you kind of promote this thing, what kind of product it is. So that was a difficulty that we kind of, also found a way of like, how to distribute it, how to kind of communicate it.
And how did you, what solutions did you come up with?
So far it was like,
we're independent. Like here, we're not with galleries. So we're independent. But so where I work, I do work with the gallery, but I'm free to do those kind of things. So they do know, but they don't. The gallery doesn't want to deal with the book because of the two names. So they would love to do it, but it's just one name. It's strange, but it's also interesting to know.
But it went to an art fair, right?
Yeah. With independent in Köln, in Germany, and in Russia, because we are very lucky to have this book in this collection to the State Museum in Thessaloniki, and we have also Cube editions in Athens that they deal with the book. And
this is like my side with the pencil drawings.
And then you can see here a little bit of this in front. So. And you can go on looking at this way, but actually you can turn it and then looking from